Evergreen College released a public announcement yesterday, and we'll go ahead and read that. But first, we'll take a look at Bret Weinstein of Evergreen College on Joe Rogan's podcast. He brings up a couple of interesting things that, if you haven't seen the footage for yourself, he gets the point across pretty well. In this first clip, Bret Weinstein talks about him and his students being stalked and doxxed by the protesters.
My wife having been dragged in here, oddly, in this discussion, where she wrote an email internal to our distribution list asking the college why they were not protecting me and my students who were being actively stalked on our campus, harassed, doxxed.
Which students?
My current students.
But why? Why are your current students being harassed?
Because my current students, like almost all of my former students, know that this charge is completely baseless, and so they have been supportive.
So in defending you, then they're being attacked.
Absolutely.
Like they're little soldiers in some sort of a strange ideological battle.
They are being penalized for not falling in line.
This next part is about the president of the school being in some sort of hostage situation, which honestly it did sort of resemble that.
They were barricaded in the president's office with the president and a bunch of faculty members and staff. And the story is that the president wanted to go to the bathroom, and he was not even allowed to go privately to the bathroom. He had to be escorted by two people.
Who?
The president of the college.
But who are the people?
Protesters.
Protesters had to go with him to the bathroom.
Right. So that, to me, sounds like literally kidnapping.
Professor Weinstein then goes on to talk about the militant racial supremacy mentality of the protesters. He's also very clearly states that he does not think that they represent the entire black community.
Well, I believe it is a militant belief structure, and I do think, based on what we've seen on our campus, it is emanating from a subset of the black population.
This next clip is the whole reason I actually started going through this podcast. Someone had mentioned it to me, I forget where. But basically, Professor Weinstein attended meetings, and these happened all the time, and they would announce via loudspeaker that white people were not allowed to eat or use the chairs that were available.
And the meeting began with an announcement that the chairs and the food were for people of color and that white people shouldn't use them. Yes, I know.
The chairs and the food were only for people of color.
Correct.
White people have to be hungry.
Right.
And you can't sit down.
Right. And I've also seen, I don't remember where I saw it now. I probably have a screenshot of it, but I saw something where some activists put out a broadcast message that said a person of color needed a power adapter for a computer. Were there any white people who could fetch one or something like that?
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, the thing is, it's preposterous, but it is also putting in danger the actual vision of a world in which race ceases to provide advantage.
So let's just go ahead and take a look at how they're handling it. June 2nd, 2017. As Evergreen faculty members, we acknowledge that all of us who have power within the institution share responsibility for the racist actions of others. Irony. Furthermore, those of us who are white bear a particularly large share of that responsibility. We acknowledge that we have a great deal of work to do in order to honor and live up to the demands made by student leaders during last week's protests. We acknowledge that students of color and others who are underrepresented and underserved have been voicing their demands to us for some time, and we have not yet truly listened and acted. We acknowledge students' right to protest and affirm President Bridges' recent decision not to use misguided language of the current Student Conduct Code to punish the protesters. We vehemently reject the claim that students have been violent simply because they have been loud and emphatic. There is a difference between exercising the right to freely voice an opinion and inciting violence, and that difference has nothing to do with the volume or forcefulness. We support the demands made by students and honor the positive institutional change that they have already achieved through their protests. Our most urgent demands, below, center on the safety of those individuals who are currently most at risk. At this time, we acknowledge that in the weeks and months to come, attention will need to turn to the larger structural issues students have identified. In solidarity with students, we commit ourselves to participating actively and self-critically in the annual mandatory training specified in the Memorandum of Understanding recently signed by the UFE and management bargaining teams. Holding each other accountable when we act in racist ways against our colleagues or our students according to shared language and understanding developed in the trainings. I think they mean like microaggressions. Holding President Bridges accountable to the promises he made at the All-Campus Forum on May 26, 2017, and to the process of ongoing dialogue with the student leaders. Actively supporting the strategic plan put forth by the Equity and Inclusion Council, including providing substantive support to the Vice President and Vice Provost of Equity and Inclusion tasked with implementing and extending their work. In solidarity with students, we call for the Evergreen administration to center student perspectives in a persistent media approach to counter the alt-right narratives that are demonizing Evergreen and Day of Absence specifically. Take seriously the threats made to individual community members and use all available institutional resources to protect them. Demonstrate accountability by pursuing a disciplinary investigation against Bret Weinstein according to guidelines in the Social Contract and Faculty Handbook. Weinstein has endangered faculty, staff, and students, making them targets of white supremacist backlash by promulgating misinformation in public emails on national television, in news outlets, and on social media. We are angry and frustrated and concerned. We also believe, however, that if the college can muster a meaningful collective response to recent events, this can be a powerful lever for growth in student members' success and equity, and for future institutional change. We urge the administration not to lead with fear or to desire to suppress students' voices. We urge them to let energy and clarity of those voices carry us forward. You see, they don't have to worry about getting rid of Bret Weinstein because they just put it in the list of demands. So let's go ahead and take a look at some highlights. I know I've shown this footage a couple of times, but I feel like this is goodbye, so to speak. So here's a short compilation. I might make it a separate video actually, so people won't have to have me talking all over it. You guys could use it for whatever you want.
Ho ho! These racist teachers have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! These racist teachers have got to go! Hey hey!
For one fucking white guy?
Is there any black folks that need water in here?
Why is it all these black women and femmes doing all this emotional labor in this space? These white-ass faculty members need to be holding him and all these people accountable. We don't need to be doing all things.
No, fuck you, George. We don't want to hear a goddamn thing you have to say. You talk so fucking much. No, you shut the fuck up. No.
I think what's smart is not to I think what's smart is not to tone police people because people are angry, and so what matters is what they're saying, not how they're saying it.
And like mostly all the trannies too.
Yes. Yeah.
Since the teacher's really good at targeting trannies.
Yeah.
His fucking soul out, and you're still here. Look, you called for a man who was being harassed or threatened. Why the fuck is he here? Please explain.
And what gets me is there was Shamir could just blatantly ask you what you could do to protect students.
All of us are students and have homework and projects and things due.
I know.
Have you sent an email out to our faculty letting them know?
No.
What's been done about that? Because we're all here on our own time.
Yeah. Hey, girl.
That is the first thing I'll do. I have not done it yet.
So they need to be told that these assignments won't be done on time. And we don't need to be penalized for that.